Welcome to Community News Media. My name is Lori Nussbaum, and we are here with another episode of the fastest growing sport, pickleball. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Coral Reef Medical Supply. You can go to Coral Reef Medical Supply for all your medical needs. They're located at Palmetto Bay at 14307 South Dixie Highway, and go on their website, coralreefmedicalsupply.com. Today, my guest is Alex Greer, founder of Funky Pickleball. Before we get started, Alex, can you please put up some of the photos and videos so our viewers can see them?
Bumping in your ear now, big fat brass sound, hit you in the face, pal. We bring the party in the beat that move your feet. We can take this funky party out to the funky street. Ooh, what you gonna do? The Funky Dogs Brass Band coming for you. We gon' make it scream, we gon' make it shout. We gon' turn this Funky Dogs party out. It's the place to be, it's the place to be. We gon' rock this party like New Orleans. It's the place to be, it's the place to be. We gon' rock this party like New Orleans. It's the place to be, it's the place to be. We gon' rock this party like New Orleans. It's the place to be, it's the place to be. We gon' rock this party like New Orleans.
So Alex, welcome to our pickleball show, and tell me a little bit about you, how you got involved in pickleball. What is Funky Pickleball?
Hi, Lori. Thanks for having me. This is really awesome. It's great to be here. So hopefully that video gave everyone like a little bit of color on what the event is,
exactly.
and hopefully it looks like a lot of fun. So I've been an event producer for much of the last 10 years. I was living in New York prior to the pandemic. I was doing all sorts of events, everything from philanthropic fundraising events, comedy, music, all sorts of kind of creative shows and things like that, as well as large-scale marketing activations, working some really big events across the country, around the world, for some of the biggest brands in the world. And I made a career of that. And when COVID happened, all of that went poof in a second. My career went away. I ended up leaving New York. And I went back to South Jersey, where I grew up, to a little town called Margate. And I was hanging out with my family, and it was just kind of a tough time. You know, it was a tough time for everyone. I felt very lost, and I found pickleball. My aunt had been playing for years, and I just didn't think it was the sport for me. But literally the world shut down, and some friends invited me to go and play, and I played for the first time, and I was just instantly hooked. I couldn't believe. I was like, what was I waiting for? This game is amazing. The game itself is just so addictive, and it's so easy to pick up and play within 10, 15 minutes. You're playing pickleball, and it's pretty amazing. There's not a lot of sports like that.
You don't want to stop. You want to another game.
Exactly. So really all it took was that one time. And then I found myself every single day. I was at the courts, sometimes for 3-4 hours a session, and I'm playing every day. And I was playing a lot in Ventnor, New Jersey. And in Ventnor, there's this really great community of players. There's dozens of players that are out there every single day. And during that stretch of the summer of 2020, people were just out playing. That's all they were doing. And I fell in love with the game, but I fell in love with the community that existed around the game. And that was what really differentiated the whole thing to me. It's like it took all of the best aspects of sports and the reasons that we love to play sports and bring people together.
Right.
But it also had these layers to it. It's so inclusive. It's so accessible. I mean, you don't have to be an athlete to play. You can be any age, any gender. I mean, just any walk of life. It's really amazing the way that it brings people together. And it really bonds people. I mean, it's fun. It's a social sport. I mean, a lot of the things that golf has from a social element, except you don't get crazy frustrated because you don't know how to play the game. You get out there and
Right,
play.
right.
And I just remember finding myself on a court with, a woman who was in her maybe early 50s, and we were across from a gentleman in his 70s with his teenage grandson who was maybe 14 years old. And we were all playing a competitive game together, and it was just such a trip. It was like,
Yeah, that's what we say.
Right?
It's crazy.
I
Yeah.
mean, what game can you do that in,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
so I was really fascinated by that, and I spent so much time playing and so much time getting to know that community that finally those creative wheels started turning again, and I was like, I want to do some event around pickleball. And what really sealed the deal is the first time I went to a pickleball event. I went to a tournament, this local tournament in North Jersey, and there were hundreds of players, but it was like a track meet. People showed up, they did their
Right.
thing, they were very serious, and I was like, what is this? This is not pickleball that I know. Like, this isn't the vibe. People are
Right.
hitting the ball at me, and no one's laughing, no one's having a good
Right,
time.
right.
I was like, this is weird,
Right.
And you couldn't even get a hot dog there, let alone, any sort of like real food or beverage or anything. And I thought to myself, I don't know how you bring together hundreds of like, excited, passionate people and give them this as an event. There's so much more to this game and this community that, like, why don't we celebrate that? Why don't we create an experience for people so that it's not just about playing pickleball and going home. It's about seeing your friends. It's about playing the game that you love. It's just having a great time together as a community, and do it in a way that can bring together not just the pickleball community, but the community at large. And that's kind of where Funky Pickle was born. So, that fall, that winter of 2021,
Right,
I
right.
started to, the gears started turning, and I thought to myself, like, I love New Orleans soul and funk music.
Right.
And I started to kind of bring a speaker out to the courts and play music while we were out there playing, and people were like, oh, this feels like a party. And I was like, if that's all it's going to take, then I'm really going to go
And
for
you're right.
this.
Right.
And
Right.
so, the first vision was like, I want a brass band playing on the courts while people are playing. My friends are like, what are you talking about? And I was
Right,
like, you'll
right.
see. I'm gonna figure this out. So in September of 21, we had our
Yeah.
first opportunity to do an event in Ventnor, and it sold out pretty quick. We had about 130 players for a one-day event. We brought together a bunch of community vendors, a bunch of great businesses in the local area support us putting the event together. We raised some money for first responders, and the event was on September 11th, which just felt very appropriate to be able to
Wow,
raise money
that's
for
amazing.
first
Yeah.
responders. And we just had an awesome day. I finally had that brass band on the court playing, and people just got such a kick out of the whole thing. And then I was like, there's a real thing here. So I want to really build this as an event in earnest. And the next time we did it, it hit that true pickleball block party
Right.
form. I call it a pickleball block party because it's not really a tournament. Like, a tournament's a piece of this, but it's also festivities. It's local vendors.
Well,
it's
that's what
food.
happens.
Yeah.
You're bringing the community together, and
Right.
that's what we say about the sport. It's not just playing it. It's like, I have pickleball friends.
Right.
It's like you said. It's all inclusive.
Yeah, I mean, you build a lifestyle around the
Right.
game. It's
So
yeah.
how Miami? What made you decide to come to Miami?
Yeah, so so when we had the opportunity to truly build the event that I had imagined, we did that in July of this past year, this past summer. When we put it on sale in April, it sold out in 48 hours. It was like, I don't even know how to promote an event for the next 3 months that sold out. This is kind of crazy, but it was just so cool to see that level of excitement and buy-in from the community. The event grew in scale probably like 3 times. It was about 1,500 overall people kind of there for the daily festivities, and we sold out about 240 players with a wait list over 100 people long. At that event, someone local to Miami happened to be up in Ventnor. She has family up there, and she was visiting Becky McCarron, and she came to this event and just thought, this is awesome. I want to bring it to Miami. And she told me that day, and I thought, that's great. That sounds awesome. And then she followed up, and we chatted some more. And once the conversation really got going, she is a board member of the Shane Batty's Foundation, Batty Take Charge.
Okay.
And it's a scholarship fund. And she was like, we should do this, benefit the Batty Take Charge Foundation, and bring the Miami community together, because there's pickleball down here, but it's still kind of in a more developmental stage than maybe some of the other places in Florida that you hear about.
Right.
Like,
Right.
there's a community, we just don't get the fun events, the same way. And I was like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. And so I got down here, and things started to come together, and I was really excited to be able to kind of find our next destination for Funky Pickle.
That's awesome. Well, let me just say one thing. Miami, we are, a little bit behind the eight ball, which we shouldn't be,
Right.
because this is a great place to have pickleball, and it brings in a lot of tourism. And thanks to, I want to give Lily Azell a shout out, we're trying to get more pickleball at various courts and various places and really make this happen. We have nowhere to play. We're waiting in lines. We're trying to, to play. We just had an event at Miami-Dade College, and same kind of thing. It was fun. It was all inclusive. Everyone wanted to come out, and it gets sold out right away.
Yeah.
Because there's only a certain amount of courts.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and we're seeing the same thing, right? I mean, Funky Pickle is like, right now, 2 of our brackets are on a wait list. The other one's just about full. We have a clinic that's sold out. I mean, people are adamant, excited. They want to be part of events like this. And speaking of Lily, she's been nothing but amazing.
amazing. Yes.
one of the
We
first
miss
names-
you today, Lily.
It's one of the first names I heard when I got down to Miami. Like, you have to meet Lily. You have to get with her. And once we started talking, she helped me understand what was going on in Miami, and that there is
Yeah.
this really excited, passionate community of people that love pickleball. There's not facilities. And,
Right.
As much as we're totally thrilled to be at the Biltmore Tennis Center, it's a historic site, beautiful part of the city, and in Coral Gables, and we're just so happy to have that as our first home. I would love to have like a true permanent courts kind of home and a real facility in Miami, and help grow this community, and just be a part of this community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of like what I want to do with Funky Pickle. This isn't just about creating a traveling road show, the circus coming to town. This is about finding communities that love pickleball, that can invest in this event and help it grow over years. And it can be an annual event in these communities. We can find philanthropic causes to support. We can bring
Absolutely.
the community together. We can do something special that's meaningful. And I hope that the people that make the decisions in the city can see that this is not just about a trend or a sport. This is about people that love something, and they come together in a meaningful way around it.
Right.
This event's a great example. I believe that Miami-Dade College event was the same thing. It's like you
We-
raise money for great causes too.
Right. We actually raised money for Chapman Partnership.
Yeah.
And the reason that we did that, just to give you a little background, was because they want to put in on their basketball courts at their homeless facilities, to line them and make them blended courts for pickleball for the residents. So again, all about inclusiveness, all about parents playing with their kids, and different generational.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. So let me ask you a question. The event that's taking place, you're partnering with former NBA star Shane Battier
Yeah.
to support his foundation, the Battier Take Charge Foundation, which aims to provide college scholarships, programming, and academic resources for underserved yet driven young scholars. Why did you decide to team up with him and the foundation? I know you mentioned Rebecca, but
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, I've been working in philanthropy for a long time. I had an event called We Be Spelling that was kind of my kickoff
Right, I saw that, yeah.
into events, and building that event, working with a lot of different philanthropic causes. You see the value of the work that goes into these kind of things, and it really fills the gaps in our society where funding isn't available or provided, and especially for underserved groups of people. And when I saw what the Battier Take Charge Foundation was doing, and the kind of kids that it's targeting and supporting and
Right.
helping, and some of the stories. I mean, one of our vendors at the event is a former is like an alumni of the program who is going to be selling candles and have her business on display at the event. And it's
Wow.
like, they help give kids like that an opportunity to get a jump start that they might not otherwise have. They might
Right.
not be able to go to school otherwise. And that's really important to me. And, it was a joy to be able to connect with an organization that has meaning in this community. Really wonderful people that run the show there, and they're doing great things. So, I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer. Like, you find a
Yeah,
partner
yeah.
like that, of course you want to come and do something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us about the event. Who's going to be there? What actually is going on? When is the event? All those details.
Yeah. So,
And I love the fact that it's at the Biltmore. It's such a
Yeah.
a landmark.
Yeah,
Miami.
we're stoked to be there. It's really great. It's a big facility. It's 10 tennis courts, so we're going to have 20 pickleball courts plus a center
wow.
court area. So
Okay.
there'll be a lot going on.
Are they dedicated courts
They're
or
not.
they're blended?
It's yeah. We're going to be lining courts.
Okay,
We're going
perfect.
to put in the hard work to turn it into
Okay,
a pickleball
okay,
facility.
on here, yeah.
So we'll have probably over 190 players across 3 different brackets. Skill levels go from basically beginner level to advanced semi-pro kind of level.
So anyone can play.
Anyone can play. That was one of the things about tournaments is that I think it's that intimidating atmosphere that some players, even good players, just don't want to be a part of that.
Right. Right.
I'm not a bad player, but I don't love playing in tournaments all the time because it's just
Do you
not.
play in tournaments?
Every now and again. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like it's almost part of my job to do a little
Yeah,
bit of
yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
But the vibe is just like, I love playing with my friends. I love getting competitive with my friends. And that's the sort of atmosphere that we wanted to create. So why would we leave out people that are just kind of getting to know the game? We want those people to
Right.
get out here and have a great time too. Part of the event, we have a center court area that's dedicated to sort of activities throughout the day. So we always have guest pickleball pros hanging out. There are like
great.
celebrity guests of the event. So for this event, we have Lee Whitwell and Ed and Leica, and they're going to be there all day. They're going to be playing with people. You can make a donation to our cause and get out there and play a couple of points with them. They'll be doing some different kind of clinics and drills and skills challenges. And then when the finals matches for each bracket occur, they take place on that court, and we gather everyone around, and we get the band going, and we have a couple of really awesome MCs. Ari Finling, who is a comedian from the New York area. He's been on Comedy Central and worked with a lot of great gigs, and Noah Savage, who does college basketball commentating for ESPN. So we have some like really great talent who are doing live commentary on the games, and we create a lot of fanfare, and like even for a beginner, now they're on like a big stage, and it's,
Right.
a once in a lifetime kind of experiences. That's what it's all about, So we have a lot of great support. 11 Vodka is going to be setting up some bars. So we'll have like a VIP area, and folks can come in and get some drinks. The Tank Brewery is going to be serving there as well. Food Dudes, Kona Ice, Zico China, some really great food vendors, nice variety of sweets and some really great local food. And then a bunch of different local vendors selling different goods, pickleball gear. Diadem is one of our sponsors. They're going to be giving out some prizes for. So, it's all about kind of finding a way to just bring that whole community together around pickleball.
Right.
But just if you've never played, this is also a great opportunity to come out, have a good time, have a couple of drinks, have lunch, listen to some great music. A local band called Experimento is going to be there. They're our house band for the day. It's just going to be a lot of fun, and we'll have some beginners clinics there as well during the day. So if you've never picked up a
But
paddle,
aren't you doing a clinic the day before or something?
we are.
Yeah.
So
so
that's currently full, and hopefully
I know. I'm trying to get into this. I'm a little late on the game.
we'll figure it out for you.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's a clinic the day before with Lee and Eden, and there's 16 spots. They filled up pretty quick. If we kind of keep getting interest, we'll see what we can do to add another clinic slot. But it's great. I mean, that just really goes to show you the enthusiasm in the Miami region for pickleball. It's really great.
Well, it's funny because I know that, like, I started playing at the Salvation Army, which is, a local place. Lily actually started it as being the ambassador of Miami-Dade. And then I heard people talking about funky pickleball. And no one knew, like, I was like, what is that? And this was last year people were talking about
Really?
it. Yeah. So I was like, wow, what is that? And now, everyone's talking about it. Are you playing it? Are you playing in it? So, it's amazing.
That's really great to
Yeah.
hear. I mean, it's super exciting. I think that this was all a hunch that if you can replicate that fun and engaging and accessible kind of environment that happens during open play and sort of make an event
Right.
around that, then you're going to have success, because that's an element that a lot of tournaments just don't go after. A lot of tournaments are focused on being the best and
Exactly.
judging your skill and
Right.
working on your rating. And to me, that stuff doesn't really matter nearly as much as enjoying the game. I mean,
Right.
just getting
And that's
out there.
what you're doing. That's what
Yeah.
you're bringing, and that's what the sport is all about, and what we need so badly. And the fact that you're bringing this to Miami, and it's such a amazing place like the Biltmore is just iconic.
Yeah,
Really
it's
exciting.
super exciting. I mean, Miami's a amazing community. To be able to come here as like our second place, coming from my hometown and Ventnor, New Jersey, being
Right.
the flagship event, and then coming to Miami, it's just super exciting. And like I said, it's about finding communities that we can connect with, that we can grow with, that this can be a part of what they're doing. Because to me, this like Funky Pickle is not about doing something that's part of this pickleball gold rush that's happening right now. Everyone's trying to get in and do something. This idea really came out of, I thought I was going to try to make pickleball cool. Like at the time, I was still explaining what pickleball was to
Right.
people, right? Like no one got it. And I did this spelling bee event. I made a spelling bee cool. So I was like, well, I think people actually want pickleball.
Right.
No one wanted the spelling bee. Like it was fun. We raised $1 million for charity. We still do this
That's
thing, and
it.
it's great. But pickleball is, there's a massive community that wants to engage in that.
Yeah.
And, it was about building on that. And whether
Right.
this is the trendiest sport in the world or it's just another game that people play, Funky Pickle is about just creating a sustainable community for the event, and having an impact that goes well beyond the event and kind of lasts in the communities that we work with, so that each year when it comes back, people are ready. People want to be a part of this. It will
It's
grow.
fun.
Yeah.
They want to. When you did, like, how much did you raise last year? In Ventnor, New
In
Jersey.
Ventnor, yeah. We raised about $18,000 for the AMI
Wow.
Foundation, and
Okay.
they have a mobile mammography van. So
Okay.
a lot of women during the pandemic missed screenings and things like that.
So you had that there.
We had that there. They did a number of screenings right on site for free, which is really great. The whole point of that vehicle is to go around to underserved communities and provide
Right.
those screenings for free to people that otherwise couldn't get them. We have a really awesome partnership with AMI there, and we're so psyched that this summer, July 28th and 29th, we'll be back in Ventnor again. And that's the goal, right? Is like
Right.
find these partnerships, like I feel like we have with the Batty Take Charge Foundation, where we can build something together, and this can grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we're the whole part of this and doing all these things not only is amazing for the community, amazing for the people doing these events. I mean, we see young, old, all different ages are coming together, and that's what's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We're now trying to work with schools, getting the sport into schools
Yeah.
to make it part of PE. It's really growing, and I hope Miami, we get more courts. We have a facility that we can actually go to and play. But bringing this to Miami, bringing Funky Pickle is just amazing. I mean, we're really excited about that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's one of the amazing things about the sport too, is the way that it brings together all ages. And I think at our tournament in Ventnor, the youngest player was 12, the oldest was 77.
Yeah.
And everyone played together, and
And everyone-
it's so cool, right?
Right.
I mean, again, a very unique thing about pickleball. But the way that it's now entering schools and becoming part of the programming in PE and all that, I would love to see us be a part of that growth too. For instance, this event, we need a whole bunch of portable nets, and whether we hang on to
Right.
them or not is one thing. I would love to be able to donate those to a school.
Yeah.
I'd love to work with one of the brands that sells these nets, and then as soon as the event's over, give them to a school so that the kids can start learning this
Well,
game
what
and
happened
growing.
in one of the schools, they were playing PE. They just had like a badminton and they were just playing. And then the kids started playing. So at one of the local parks, Lily is really pushing, and we're trying to get, turn in, they have like 2 courts, and we're trying to turn them into pickleball courts, dedicated
Yeah.
courts. We had an event there, a picnic for the area, and the kids, like 15 kids from the school, came out and they played. And it was really nice to see, the kids, they're so into it, and they
Yeah.
were all playing. And then, I play also with somebody that is 80, that is amazing. He's
Yeah.
a great player. Maybe he can't run, but then, I play with,
Isn't that the thing?
So that's what's crazy.
Yeah, and you can't judge anyone before you get on the
You
court, right?
can't.
You look at someone, you're like, maybe I'm more physically fit than them, and then they'll still whoop your butt out
But
there.
exactly. I mean, I have like marks all over my body from,
Yeah,
but it's so true.
and the inclusiveness, I think, is another thing that makes it so attractive for young people, because some kids that would never be athletic or get out there and
Yeah.
be part of a sport, like, this is an opportunity. They can
Yeah.
get out there, have a lot of fun, and be good at something that, otherwise they're not an
Exactly.
athlete, but now they are. And
Right.
That's pretty special.
Yeah. Well, we have a few minutes left. Is there anything you want to say or about the event? I think it's April 1st.
It's April 1st, so I guess we'll talk about our weekend, right? So that on the 31st, at the Biltmore as well, from 6 to 8:30, we have our clinic. So as I said, right now it's at capacity. If people are still interested, you can visit our website and sign up, and we will potentially add another slot. So Lee Whitwell, Ed and Licka, they'll be there. They'll be doing all the different skills and developmental kind of parts of the game to improve. I think it's a great opportunity right before the tournament to kind of get some pro coaching.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, starting at 8 a.m., Saturday, April 1st, we have our all-day festivities. So that's the Funky Pickle Miami Open, and we start with our beginner bracket and work our way up throughout the day. All of our vendors and food and everything will start being available around 10 a.m. So it's free to the public. We do have a donated VIP area, so if you make a donation, you can access more of the event. But all of the festivities and everything will be free to the public. So if you're in the area or you want to come in and check out Pickleball,
Okay.
take a free beginner clinic, just have lunch and listen to some music and have a good time.
Okay.
It's an all-day event, 10 a.m., and it'll probably run till about 6 p.m. or so. Hopefully the weather is cooperative with us.
Exactly. Welcome to Miami.
Right. But it's an all-day event on April 1st, and would love to just kind of have people come out and just be a part of something special.
That sounds great. And hopefully I'll be able to get in.
I think a guy now.
We'll talk
I
after.
know.
I know. So you're expecting like a couple hundred people.
Yeah, so just players alone, close to 200, and we hope that everyone brings a couple of people. We're doing something a little different. So Major League Pickleball, which is the new professional league in town, they have started a team model for pickleball. So it's not just doubles, pairings. It's 4 players on a team. We are adapting that a little bit, and we're also doing a team event. And part of that was I went to a minor league pickleball event actually in Austin, and I was just really inspired by the way that that team dynamic, it just adds something. It really adds to the social nature of the game, and you kind of have built-in cheering section every time you play. And I love that. So I wanted to just think, is there a way to kind of continue to lean into the community element of this, especially when we're growing this at a more recreational level for people that aren't aspiring to be the best, they're aspiring to have the best time. And so get your 4 friends together, maybe get that foursome together that you go out and play with anyway, 2 guys, 2 girls on each team, and everyone will play in both gendered matches and mixed matches. And then we kind of have a special little dynamic for the playoff round where we'll be rotating people in and out of one game. So it's truly a team sport. All 4 players will be playing in one one game, and yeah, I'm just excited to try something new. And I mean, that's kind of the point of Funky Pickle
Yeah,
too. Is
yeah.
like, let's be innovative. Let's do something fun.
Well, thank you so much for coming out, for doing this show. And we look forward to Funky Pickle at the Biltmore on April 1st. So everyone come out. If you're not playing, at least come out and see what's going on in Miami. And I want to also thank our sponsor, Coral Reef Medical Supply. Go to coralreefmedicalsupply.com. And thank you so much for another episode of Pickleball. Thank you.